And then we're going to have a meditation towards the end. We're going to begin in Savasana, nice and grounding and focusing on your breathing. Noticing the earth beneath your body, feeling the earth against your heels, the back of your legs, your buttocks, your back, your shoulders, your arms, hands, and the back of your head. Noticing your breathing as you inhale, expanding through the chest, and as you exhale, the deflation of your chest. Bringing your hands to the side of your rib cage. As you inhale, feeling the ribs expanding in your hands and deflating as you exhale. Just tuning into your own breath and tuning into the energy of the ground supporting you. Noticing the sounds in the distance and noticing the sounds within your room. Scanning through your body, noticing any tension or tightness. As you exhale, exhale into those parts and let them go. Scanning your mind, noticing the thoughts, acknowledge them and let them go. The next hour is for you, for your self-care, leaving behind the busyness of your morning. Thank you for being here today, for all that you do for yourself and supporting each other in our beautiful yoga community. I'm going to open the practice and set the space with an Om. You can join me if you like, but you don't have to. We're going to take a deep breath in and then let it go. And another deep breath in. Bring our hands to Anjali Mudra. Om. As you're laying in Savasana, reflecting on your intention for the practice today, maybe something around focusing on your balance, or whatever resonates for you today at the beginning of your week and the energies of a new week and a beautiful sunny day. Gently rolling to one side and coming into child's pose. Bringing your buttocks down to your heels and walking your hands forward, bringing your forehead down towards the mat. Taking some deep breaths here. As you exhale each time, allowing your body to fold a little bit more forward, releasing any tension in your lower back or your upper back and shoulders. Remembering today, as you go through your yoga asana, if you need to rest at any time, you can come back to this pose, to child's pose, or to Savasana. Taking 3 more deep breaths here. Just surrendering your body to the practice. And then gently coming up into a seated position and then to all fours. Bringing our knees underneath our hips and our hands underneath our armpits. We're going to do some cat-cows to warm up our spine. As we inhale, lifting through our chest, lifting our gaze. And as we exhale, rounding through our back, taking our back up towards the ceiling and gazing through our legs. Just continuing on for 5 or 6 deep breaths at your own pace, noticing how your spine feels. Do one more breath here. And then coming to a seated position. We're going to do some stretching from side to side. As we inhale, bringing our hands up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, taking our right hand down to the floor and taking our left hand over the top, stretching through the left side. And then inhaling back to the center and exhaling down to the other side. Just giving your body a nice stretch through the right side. Let's go from left to right. And then we go one more on each side. And then coming back to child's pose. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift up, taking our hands forward into an upward dog, lifting our gaze, and then exhaling back into child's pose, sliding your hands back a little, and inhaling, coming forward into upward dog. Just getting some nice movement into your spine, stretching through the hips as well. Just continue on for 3 more. Inhaling as you come up into upward dog. And then exhaling as you go back into child's pose. Walking your hands back onto all fours. As we tuck our toes under, we're going to press up into our first downward dog. Walking our heels down towards the mat. Stretching through the back of our legs and our shoulders. And then taking our hands forward into an upward dog. This time, you may like to keep your knees off the ground or rolling your toes over back into downward dog. So I'm just going to continue on with some upward dogs and some downward dogs. Warming up our spine. Rolling over our toes. We'll do 2 more of these. Your own pace, your own breath. And then coming back to child's pose for a couple of breaths. Noticing how your lower back and your upper back feels now after a little bit of movement. And then we're going to come up onto all fours, moving through alternate arm and leg. So we're going to inhale, we're going to lift through our left leg and our right arm, lengthening through the foot and the hand, having the toes pointing down towards the earth. Exhale as you bring your knee and your hand back to the mat, and inhale as you move to the other side. Just moving from side to side, gazing towards the top of your mat so you have a nice lengthening of your spine. Keeping your body nice and steady. Imagining you have a bowl of water on your back that you don't want to spill. Just moving from side to side with your breathing. Then coming back to all fours, we're going to reach back with our right hand to hold on to our left foot, lifting through the chest and lifting through the leg. So feeling that nice stretch through the front of your left leg. I'm going to stay here for another breath and release that to the mat. And then reaching from the left hand back towards the right foot, the other side, lifting through the chest, lifting the gaze, lengthening through the foot. One more breath, and then release. And coming up to a standing position. We're going to do a sun salute next, just warming up our body a little more. So you all know this one very well. So we're going to start towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lifting our arms up to mountain pose, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, and exhale, stepping back into a high plank, and then slowly lowering the body down to the mat. Inhale, lift up into upward dog, and then exhale as you tuck your toes under, coming up into downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath, and then lifting our gaze towards our hands and stepping forward into a forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, bringing the chest towards your legs. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Good work. So that's one round. Let's do 3 more rounds. So you can come with me or go at your own pace. So we can inhale, lift up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, stepping back into high plank. You can have your knees on the ground here as well, into low plank, slowly lowering your body down to the mat. And then inhale, lengthen up into an upward dog. And exhale, coming up into downward dog. Take a breath here. Then raising the gaze, stepping forward to a forward bend. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. And exhale, hugging the chest towards the legs. Inhale, come all the way back up. And back to Anjali Mudra. Nice. Let's go 2 more rounds.
Nice work, ladies, just at your own pace, tuning into your own breath. Beautiful. And one more to go. Nice work. So coming back to Anjali Mudra, noticing your breath now. Notice how your body's feeling and notice your mind. We're going to do a warrior sequence next. So we'll start with warrior one, turning the left foot out slightly towards it, starting it towards the back of the mat and stepping forward with your right foot. As you inhale, lifting up your arms, lifting your chest and lifting your gaze. We'll take 3 breaths here. Front leg bent with the knee stacked on top of the ankle. Hips and chest nice and square, pointing forward. And then we're going to take the right hand out to the front, left hand to the back into warrior two. Just opening up through the chest, having that front leg bent. One more breath here, then we're going to inhale, lift the right hand up and the left hand back towards the knee, looking up towards the ceiling. For 2 breaths here, really lengthening through the arm and then bringing both hands down to the front to frame your foot and straightening out through that front leg. Bringing your right hand down beside your foot and lifting up through the left hand. Gazing up towards your left hand into triangle pose. I'm going to stay here for 3 breaths. So nice and strong through your legs. Gazing up at that left hand. Then bringing the left hand back down to earth, placing it next to your right foot, and take the right hand up to the ceiling and follow this right hand up with your eyes into a twisted triangle. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. And then bringing the right hand back down to the mat and coming up into a standing position with your hands behind you. Bring your shoulders back and bowing forward and bringing your arms up into humble warrior. Giving you a nice stretch through the back of your right leg and through your shoulders. Have 3 breaths here. Coming all the way up, using the strength in your right leg. Nice work. And hands back to Anjali Mudra. Give your legs a little shake. And we'll go to the other side. So towards the back of your mat, turning your right foot out and stepping forward with your left foot. So the left heel should line up roughly with the arch of your right foot. We're going to inhale, bending that front knee and lifting our arms towards the ceiling. We've got our hips and our shoulders square facing forward. Noticing a stretch through the right hip area. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. Really lifting and lengthening, raising your gaze. And then taking the left hand forward, right hand back. Opening out through the chest for 2 breaths here. And then inhale, lift the left hand towards the ceiling, raising your gaze with the left hand and the right hand down towards the back of the right knee. for 3 breaths, really lift and lengthening, noticing that stretch through the right hip and through the front of the left side of the body. And then bringing both hands down to the mat to frame the left foot and stretching out that left foot. And we're going to take the left hand just inside the left foot and take the right hand up to the ceiling, gazing at the right hand as you take it up. The front leg is now fairly straight. Staying here for 3 breaths, nice and strong through the feet and the legs. Noticing the stretch through the back of the left leg. Then exhale, bring that right hand back down to the mat. Inhale, lift the left hand to the sky and focus on your gaze on the left hand into a twisted triangle for 3 breaths. And noticing that stretch through the back of the left leg. Keeping your legs nice and strong. And then bring the left hand down to the mat and coming up into standing position. Bring your hands behind you into clasp position, straightening out through your hips and your chest. As you exhale, folding forward and lifting the hands away from your body into humble warrior for 3 breaths. Then inhale, lift the body up and bring your feet together, coming up to Anjali Mudra. Nice work, ladies. Just give your legs and your hips a little bit of a shake. We're going to go into some balancing now. So the first one we're going to do is coming into an aeroplane. So we're going to take our right foot a little bit forward. We're going to inhale, lifting our arms up to the ceiling, and we're going to exhale, bring our hands down to frame that right foot. As we do that, we're going to lift the left leg off the mat, spreading out through the toes of your right foot, gazing towards the top of your mat. We're going to lift our hands up off the mat, keeping our left leg raised. If you need to, you can bring your left toe down to the mat, but be curious, give it a little try. So taking the left hand and the right hand off the mat, having your arms out like aeroplane wings. Just taking some deep breaths and gazing towards the front of your mat. And then bring your hands back down to the mat and bring your left leg back down. Nice work. And then coming back up into a standing position. Give your legs a little shake. And then we'll go to the other side. So taking your right foot out slightly, stepping forward with the foot, left foot, inhaling, lift arms towards the ceiling, and exhaling, folding forward. Using your hands to frame the left leg, spreading your left toes out and taking your right foot off the mat, getting yourself nice and steady. And then we're going to gaze towards the top of the mat and take our hands up off the mat. Now you remember you can bring your toe down off your right foot if you need to, but just be curious, give it a go for 3 breaths. And then bring your hands back down to the mat and the right foot back down. Nice work. Give your legs a little shake here. From this one, we're going to go into a tree pose. So with the tree pose, we're going to have our hands at Anjali Mudra. We're going to bring our left foot either to the calf of the right leg, or you can bring it up a little higher if you want, above the knee. Oops, you might like to be next to a wall. And bringing your hands back to Anjali Mudra. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Good balance, everyone. And then releasing that leg down to the mat. Just walking your feet. And then we'll take it to the other side. So bring your right foot up either next to your calf, or you can take it above the knee. And then hands back to Anjali Mudra for 3 breaths. And then releasing the right foot to the mat. Then going back to the left side, we're going to bring the left foot just in front of the right knee, bending that left knee a little and coming into a nice stretch through that glute area, keeping your chest up nice and tall. And we'll do one more breath here. Good work. And then coming back to standing, shake that one out. And then we'll go to the other side. So this time we'll bring the right leg in front of the left leg, and then bending down through that left knee a little, feeling that stretch through the glute on the right side. Chest up nice and tall. Taking 3 more breaths here. Good work. Just being curious with it. If you need to touch the wall, you can. And 1 more breath. And let it go. Good work. Okay, from here we're going to go into a garland pose or deep yoga squat. So just giving your knees a little bit of movement first, and then we're going to take our feet a little wider, toes pointed out, and as we inhale we're going to go down into a deep squat. Using your elbows to press your knees out a little. If you need to come up a little higher, you can. Nice, you're all very balanced here. So chest up nice and tall. Let's take 3 breaths here. And 1 more breath. And then bringing your hands down towards the mat and standing up into a forward fold and tucking your hands underneath your toes if you can, or onto your ankles. Let your head fall heavy, and we'll stay here for 5 breaths, just stretching out through the lower back. And then releasing your hands and coming back up into standing position, Tandasana. From here, we're going to go into a chair pose. So we're going to have our feet a little bit closer than hip width apart. And we're going to keep our chest up nice and tall. And we're going to take our bottom down into like a seated position. So this is chair pose. That's it. Keeping the chest up nice and tall. Just taking 3 breaths here, noticing how this is strengthening through the lower back and through the thighs. Then we're going to take our left elbow around to the right knee, just taking it just outside the right knee and taking our gaze to the right side. Having 3 breaths here, so into a twisted chair pose. One more breath here, then back to center and coming up into Tandasana. Give your legs a little shake. And then we're going to go into chair pose again and twist to the other side. So as you inhale, coming back into chair, so chest up nice and tall, as though you're coming into a seated position. For 3 breaths here. Noticing the strengthening through your thighs. And then taking your right elbow outside your left knee. Gazing to the left side. Noticing that twist through the right side of your body for 3 breaths. And then coming back to center And back up to Tandasana. Give your legs a nice stretch. Okay, from here we're going to come down to the mat, laying down, facing down towards the mat. Bringing your hands underneath your hips, and we're going to inhale, and we're going to lift our feet up off the ground into locust pose, noticing a squeeze through the buttocks area and a slight compression through the lower back. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then releasing your feet down to the mat. Bringing your hands just underneath your shoulders. We're going to inhale and lift up into a cobra pose for 3 breaths. Keeping your elbows nice and close to your body. Exhale, bringing your chest back down to the mat. And then taking your arms either behind you or clasped behind your back. And we're going to inhale and lift up into snake pose. So opening through the heart, lifting your gaze, lifting your chest, keeping your feet on the ground. And 1 more breath here. And releasing your arms back to the mat. From here, we're going to go into a half boat pose. We're going to reach back our left hand to our left foot. So inhale, reach back and lift up through the chest, pulling the foot towards the hand, noticing a stretch through the left side of the front of the leg. 1 more breath. And releasing that side back down to the mat. And then taking your hand to the other side. So take your right hand around the right foot. Inhale, lifting through the leg and the chest for 3 breaths. And releasing that back to the earth. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to move into a full boat pose. If you can, reaching through left hand onto your left foot and right hand to your right foot. Getting comfortable with that. Having your knees fairly wide apart. We're going to inhale, lift up through the chest and lift up through the feet. Coming up into full boat pose. Nice work, ladies. 3 breaths here. As you take your breath, you'll notice your body's rocking backwards and forwards. 1 more breath. And then releasing your arms and your legs. And then coming up into a seated position with your legs out in front of you. Just noticing your breath here, this position. Then we're going to inhale and lift our hands towards the ceiling. Exhaling, bring our hands down towards our toes or our ankles, keeping our gaze at our toes. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Each time we exhale, releasing our body a little more to earth. Noticing the stretch through the back of our legs and through our lower back. Gazing towards your big toes. Stretching through the lower back and the shoulders and the hamstrings. And 1 more breath here. And release. We're going to come into a butterfly position. So having the soles of our feet together and our knees falling to the sides, we're going to lay back into a butterfly position, allowing our knees to fall towards the mat bringing the soles of our feet up towards our groin area. Hands on our legs, just gently holding the weight of your hands on your legs. Noticing the stretch through the groin, releasing through the lower back a little. Taking 3 more breaths here. Noticing the earth beneath your shoulders and beneath your buttocks and feet. One more deep breath here. And then bring your knees towards your chest and rolling in a clockwise direction, releasing through the lower back and your lumbar spine. And then going back the other way, anti-clockwise. And bringing your feet down towards the mat, legs bent. We're going to go into a bridge position. So we're going to either have our hands face down on the mat, or you can, as you lift up through the hips, you can bring your hands to a clasp position underneath your buttocks. So as we inhale, we're going to lift through our hips, bringing our chin to chest, and either having your hands face down on the mat or clasped behind you, walking shoulders a little bit closer together, really squeezing through the buttocks, lifting up as high as you can through the hips. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. And slowly lowering your spine vertebrae by vertebrae down to the mat and hugging your knees back up to your chest. As you inhale, taking the knees away from your body, and as you exhale, bring the knees towards your body, squeezing the air out of your lungs. Just moving in and out. Bringing your feet down towards the mat, and we're going to twist from side to side, taking our hands and our arms straight out from our shoulders. We're going to bring our knees towards the right side and look towards the left. Staying here for 3 breaths and noticing a nice stretch through the left side of your body, keeping the back of your shoulders on the ground, noticing a stretch through your pecs, through the front of your chest. 1 more breath here. Then inhaling, bringing your knees to the center and exhaling to the other side. One more breath here. And then knees back to the center, lifting your feet straight up above your head. I'm just going to stay here for 5 breaths. Just a gentle inversion, letting the back of your spine press in towards the earth. And then reaching up towards your feet into a happy baby pose, having your hands on the outside of your feet, just rolling around on your lower back, moving backwards and forwards or from side to side, whatever feels right for your lower back today. And then from here, coming into a seated position, a comfortable seated position. You might be cross legs, you might sit up on a block, or you might have your legs out straight out in front of you. We're going to do a little meditation now on the tip of our nose. So coming into A position with your spine nice and long. Taking 3 deep breaths and just focusing on the air coming in and coming out of your nostrils. Softening your eyes. Nice tall spine, crown of the head up towards the ceiling. A gentle feeling of being upright, supporting your breathing. Nice soft face, mouth soft, eyes closed. Adjusting your chin to be slightly down. Focusing your attention on the tip of your nose, and it might help to actually touch the tip of your nose so you get a feel of it, a sense of feeling. Observing your natural and spontaneous breath, breathing in and breathing out through your nose. Making no attempt to manipulate or control your breath. Simply observing your unique breath as it brushes past your nostrils. Feel the breath gently flowing in and flowing out. Following the experience of breathing with your mind, connecting to the breath as it comes in, briefly pauses and goes out again, briefly pausing. The breath sustains the life in your body. Without the breath, there is no life. Tuning in to the supple sound of your breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. Noticing if your inhalation feels more from the left or the right nostril. Perhaps it's even. Is your exhalation more dominant through one nostril, or are they even? Observing the breath as it comes in and it goes out. Noticing the inhalation as a coolness entering the nostrils. Feel the passage of the breath and observe the exhalation, subtly warmer from the letting go of the waste gases. You may be aware of the nostrils gently flaring as you breathe. Perhaps you have a sense of the nasal hairs moving, filtering the breath and maintaining an attitude of pleasantness. It's the effort in remaining softly focused on the tip of your nose. Your attention is like that of a watchman at a city gate, noticing those passing in and going out. Just staying alert at the gate of the nostrils. There's no effort to breathing, simply staying tuned to your natural breathing process and the touching point of your breath and your nostrils. From time to time, checking your posture that is still supportive with a soft space and a tall spine, then returning to your breath focus. If the mind starts to wander, gently returning to the focus and the feeling of the breath at your nostrils. Sounds and thoughts may arise in the background or in the foreground from moment to moment. The awareness of the breath pleasantly coming in and going out. Counting down our last 5 breaths. And bring your attention back into the room. Slowly opening your eyes. And then coming into a Savasana position. So laying with your back on the mat. And we're going to do a nice calming and grounding rest in Savasana for the next 5 minutes or so. So getting yourself nice and comfortable. If you have a jacket, you might like to put it on, or if you have a blanket, you may like to put the blanket over you. I'm going to have some nice soft noises in the distance as you rest in Savasana. Noticing your energy and noticing the balance in your breathing and in your body. Distilling the energy and the warmth from your asana within your practice and within your body as you relax in Savasana in silence for the next 5 minutes. Gently bringing your attention back into the room. Noticing the earth underneath your body. Tuning into your breathing and the sounds inside the room and the sounds outside the room. Gently rolling to one side. Taking a few breaths there. And when you're ready, coming up to a seated position. Thank you for your beautiful energy today in your yoga practice and all the good that you do for yourself and for each other. Let's close the practice with an Om. So we'll take a deep breath in and then release out all that we don't need. Another inhalation. Om. Bringing your hands to your forehead for kind thoughts and to your lips for kind words and to your heart for a kind heart. Namaste.